Hi, everyone. I'm Summer,
I'm Carrie.
and this is Hopelexia Podcast.
Join us to talk about sex, drugs, and self-improvement.
Can I just rail against the cult of our childhood again? This is also in that the purity culture and the sex shaming that happens in evangelical circles actually makes us more likely to become victims to this type of behavior. For one, they tend to not teach sex ed to kids. And so the data shows that makes them more likely to be victimized. I've heard over and over and over survivors say, I didn't know what was happening to me was not supposed to happen to me. They told me this was normal. And then
really
there's also
like bodily autonomy from you at like a really young age. Like
and the entire
like you have to go hug so and so. You have to go hug the pastor. You have to shake everybody's hands. You have to like do this, and that, like with everybody in the church. Like
right. Yeah. And which is why I say purity culture is rape culture, because there is no meaningful consent under the paradigm of purity culture. You're not allowed to consent to sex till you get married. Then if you're a woman, you have to you have to have sex anytime your husband wants to. It's your obligation. You're not allowed to say no. And if he forces you, it cannot be rape because you are his property. And there's also one thing a lot of people, particularly that don't understand, particularly if they aren't that familiar with fundamentalist ideas, is so things like rape and child molestation are set up, they're viewed as just a type of sexual sin. So it's a really good prominent example of this is if you go back and look at the Duggars comments about when Josh was discovered to have been molesting his sisters and the babysitter and all of that. If you look at all of their comments about it, they talk about it as like it was sexual sin. It was just like if he had been watching pornography. There is no difference in how rape is viewed versus I looked at her cleavage.
yeah, it like the whole thing, like no sin. My neighbor was cutting a tree and I saw a bunch of branches just moving with nothing like under them, and I thought it was some crazy weird deer.
Oh, okay. I thought you had seen a ghost because you had that look.
No, it was a weird deer and it scared me. But anyway, I in church when they say like no sin is greater than the other, like they're all equal, and I'm like, that they're not. Like there's bad things that are very much worse than other things. Like me thinking like, oh my god, like she has nice boobs and a nice butt, like that's lustful, I guess, but that would be a sin, and they're saying like that would be equal to murdering someone.
Right.
It's not the fucking same, but like
no, it's
that's
not
what they make it out to be.
Right. And that's why I think that indoctrination with that ideology is dangerous.
Yeah, 100%. And like it's so weird, like talking to people that were not in the church because they just don't get it. Like
they think we make it up and that we're exaggerating about the stuff that we were taught. So I'm like, no,
like
this
I
is
went
it.
to a whole ass purity conference with a filled stadium of a bunch of raging hormonal teenagers, just like everybody wanting to do the nasty and like contract saying we won't and getting like and then going to have sex immediately with the period.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I would have been fucking in the bathroom in that stadium.
Like, there's no way. Like you want to fill a whole ass stadium with a bunch of teenagers and expect them to sign a contract saying they're gonna stay pure. Absolutely not.
And I think that's another situation too, where like you were talking about, it removes your autonomy because you're creating this obligation and there's this coercive pressure of you can't. and you shouldn't. And I see it a lot, like with parents and talking, and oh my God. Actually, okay, so I'm part of a conduct disorder support group and stuff, and I see it a lot in there too, because most of our kids, especially the ones with like behavioral issues or psychopathy, most of them are out having sex pretty young, but definitely at later teenagers, because hello, most people are having sex as later teenagers. Just that's developmentally normal. And oh my gosh, I see that so much. Well, I don't believe they should be having sex, so like I'm going to punish them. Like, you're going to die on this hill, like with this kid.
Like, of all the things to be upset about with kids that have oppositional issues, like you're going to be mad at them having sex, like presuming, like I want to assume consensually. I know, like, it may not work.
I mean, not for all of them, but yeah, I'm specifically talking about the complaints about
it, like being
right. I'm talking about this complaints about specifically sex, consensual sex, because yes, there are some that are offenders, and no, I'm separating that out. Yeah, be pissed at that. But why are you like mad that your 16-year-old had sex with their 16-year-old boyfriend? Like,
right? Like,
this is not the thing to. Right, like this is not the hill to die on.
We had, like, when I worked at the IQ unit, there was a bunch of teenagers that got sent there for oppositional disorders. And one of the teens got pissed at his mom because his mom was yelling at him because he wasn't like practicing safe sex. She didn't get pregnant or anything, but the fact that he wasn't practicing safe sex, like she was mad at him for that, and he threw a brick through the window. And she was only mad about the sex still when she brought him in. And she was like, I want him to get treated because he's out here having unprotected sex and endangering himself and the girl because she's going to end up pregnant, and then who's going to take care of it? And I was like, you're mad? Like, he just threw a brick through the window trying to hit you. Like, I don't.
Right, like the violence is the bigger concern here.
Like, he was having consensual sex with her.
Right.
They didn't have condoms, probably because you wouldn't give them one, and they didn't know where to go. Like,
well, that's always my recommendation. Like, give them condoms. Hell, talk to her about, do you need me to take you to the clinic too? And I know I'm going to piss people off here, but yes, I will absolutely take children that are not my own to the clinic so that they can get whatever they need. If they need, birth control, condoms. I used to have a fishbowl, because you can buy like, 100 count of condoms in the fishbowl, from Amazon. I would buy like the 100 count of condoms, and it just stayed in my bathroom.
And the health department will send you a bag of them for free and lube.
Right.
And you order like a free HIV test, like a home-based one that you can do like once every 3 months, I think. Like, the health department got your back, man.
Right. They do, but a lot of kids. Right.
Sex.
I remember I was in high school. My best friend got pregnant our senior year, and my mom took us both to the health department. So she was taking me to the health department for my appointment. Don't remember what I was there for, whether it was testing or birth control or whatever. But I was already going, and so we took her with us, and she got a pregnancy test while she was there. And she was pregnant. And her mom was so mad. She was like focused on this. Why would you take my daughter? And we're like, okay, you need to focus on making plans.
Somebody has a baby to take care of.
Baby, right? Like, there's a baby that's coming in about 5 months, because she was already like at the end of the first trimester. I'm like, you got bigger things to focus on than being mad that we took her to the health department.
I just don't understand. Like, of all the things to be mad about, like, why? Like, everybody, like, not everybody, the majority of people like want to have sex and are going to have sex. Like, there's people that don't want to have sex and just like don't like it. Live your life,
Right. Good for them.
Good for you. Live your life. Do what you need to do. But like a lot of people want to have sex. Why are you gonna be mad about it? Like you have sex. You're gonna tell me you didn't? You have a baby. I know you did.
Right. Well, and the answer I always get to that is, well, they're young. And I'm like, yeah, but by a lot. Right. And that's the thing. And I know the answer I get to that a lot is, well, I regret it. I shouldn't have been having sex at that age.
Did
Well,
you regret
first of
sex or did you regret who you had sex with?
right.
Right.
And the thing is, your kid is closer to what you were then developmentally. Like your kid isn't thinking with a 40-year-old's brain like you are now when you say you regret it. They're thinking, just like you did at 15, oh, I want to do this.
Yeah.
So equip them to at least do it as safely as possible. Because if they're going to make that decision, they're going to make that decision. I personally have no regrets. I was having sex at 14. I do not regret it at all. But it's because I was having sex with peers. It wasn't some sort of like predatory situation where it was, an adult. It was with peers. So it was like normal, healthy exploration.
Same. I didn't have sex until I was 16, but I was dating somebody and had been dating them for like a year, and I felt comfortable with them after that amount of time to have sex with them. And like, no regrets. But it was because like my mom taught me like, don't have sex with somebody just because, like they tell you like they want to or like whatever. We always had condoms. Like his mom was super cool and was just like, I have condoms in the bathroom.
See, that's what I did. I just had
She never talked to us about it, but she was just like, I stocked the bathroom.
Well, when I had a whole house full of teenagers, I had a
Didn't you have the
fishbowl
lobster
of condoms. Huh?
Wasn't it a lobster or something that you had, or was that somebody else like holding the bowl?
No, that wasn't me. Mine was just a regular fishbowl, and it just sat there on the shelf in the bathroom. And my one of my kids' friends always had to stop and use the bathroom at my house, and I'm like, fine. I said, tell them to take them, because God knows none of y'all are in a position that y'all need to be having babies. They take them. I will keep restocking it. Use them, please.
There was somebody, I don't know if it was like a video I saw or like somebody I actually knew, because post-concussive syndrome, I don't know anymore. But somebody had like one of those, like it was like a lobster standing up with its claws, and it was on its little tail, and he had like a bowl and his little claws holding up a bowl of condoms. It was so cute.
It's cute. I need to get me a fancy bowl.
It was the fanciest of bowls, and I enjoyed it. I have a little like bowl of condoms in my room from when I was, doing stuff, and it has little like nurse rubber duckies in it.
Yeah, cute.
It's
yeah, cute. I don't. Both of my girls have implants in their arms, and I don't believe for a second that my younger one will use condoms, because again, she does. Not only does she not have a normal fear response, she also struggles with planning ahead and impulsive. That's the word. couldn't get there. So like it's usually a spur of the moment decision. So I figure she will probably not be planning ahead to make sure she has condoms or takes them with her or whatever. So she also got an IUD last year. So
that's why I got the next one. It's because I struggle with impulsivity also, and have a bad habit of like not thinking about it in the moment. So that's why I got the next one on. And also why I keep the condoms in my room next to where I will be, so I can look at it and be like, oh yeah,
right.
I did this. But that's just ADHD. And like being, distracted. So.
Why would you be distracted? By literally everything in existence.
Literally everything. I was reading an article the other day where they were talking about like people with ADHD and like sex. Did you know that it's not normal to think about and fantasize about like other things while you're having sex.
I was literally about to ask you about this. Like, do you ever get distracted about other things while you're having sex?
It doesn't happen like okay, it happens if I don't enjoy the sex. If I enjoy the sex, that's all I'm thinking about is like that in the moment. But if I'm not enjoying it and like not having a good time, I'm definitely rewatching Supernatural in my head. Like every time. So, or thinking about what I'm gonna cook for lunch or dinner, or man, I have to take the trash out. Like, and I didn't realize that's not normal.
I didn't for a long time either. Yeah, I have the
thought
same
it was
thing.
just something everybody did.
Right. I'm very similar. As long as there's enough stimulation happening, then my brain will stay present. But yeah, like I'm thinking back to rather recently. Are you there? You look like you're frozen. There you are.
No, sorry.
It's okay.
I might have to go soon.
Okay.
There's an emergency.
Oh no. But yeah, I'm thinking about very recently where I was giving head and watching TV at the same time.
I can multitask really well. And I have definitely been complimented on my skills. And I think honestly I perfected it most of the time because I just didn't want to do it anymore because I got bored.
Yes.
It would take forever.
I am not a person who enjoys giving head. To me, that's a fun part of foreplay. It is not the main event. And I'm like bored after like an absurdly short amount of time.
I enjoy it and I like it and I like doing it. It's just like some people are just like too quiet.
Yes, like you have to be doing something else to stimulate me, or I'm like
I get over it really quick
somewhere else. Yeah.
But like people that I enjoy having sex with, I enjoy doing that for because it's fun. Because they make it fun. Sex is supposed to be enjoyable, you know? And like the people that make it enjoyable are great.
The people who don't make it enjoyable get ghosted.
Yeah. Or we're just like besties now with no benefits.
Well, that's not fun.
We can just like go get pizza sometimes and that's good. That's it.
So do you have an emergency?
Yeah.
I don't want you to get distracted and not get to it.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And to be sure you never miss an upload, make sure you turn your notifications on. And please come join us on social media so we can continue these conversations in between episodes. You'll find us at Hypoxia Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
And